Recently, I had to say goodbye to a friend. They were moving away from the city where we both lived to somewhere a few hours away by train. Even though the distance was not massive, we saw each other very frequently, and the convenience of living as close as we did meant that we were kind of inseparable for a while. So we tried to do the final day here right. We went for chips by the river, and then went home and did what we always did. We basically just played video games next to each other. But emotions were high, so we did do something a bit out of the ordinary. After a difficult conversation, we decided to slow dance. In the few months that we've known each other, we've shared a lot of music, and we had a couple of mutual favourites. So we stuck on one of our songs, we stood up, and embraced, taking short circular steps around my bedroom while tears escaped my person. And for 3 to 4 minutes, we experienced some kind of twilight purgatory. Absence is a brooding word. It describes the lack thereof, the hollow where you'd hope something would be, and crucially precedes the phrase, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Now, you can be fond of ice cream, but you can also be fond of cigarettes, or like a bladed edge marking little lines into your arm for all the stress to escape out. Fondness is a feeling that outstretches your fingers, and what hurt was seeing them leave in the taxi and feeling my fingers outstretched to nothing. This video is not about what I just described. It's about what came immediately after. It's about all my body could do when I closed the front door on them for the last time. It's about the liminal pause. The recent God of War game has a wonderfully cinematic moment, and to be fair, the game is full of things that could be described as wonderfully cinematic moments, but one that immediately springs into my mind is the following. Very early into the game, we find Kratos living in the woods with his son Atreus. The game has given you its diegetic tutorials, you've fought new bad guys, you've roamed the lands for a bit, and you've returned home. When suddenly,
no use hiding anymore.
a stranger. This aggressive man dwarfs every threat you have seen thus far. Mindless demi-humans are nothing compared to what very well may be the first god you find in this installment of a game series built on killing gods. The stranger is able to send you skyward with simple punches. As the fight progresses, it's clear that the stranger harbours a strength we can't fully understand. His body is melding with the air as it travels with this impossible fluidity. His skin turns an icy pale as he winds up to strike us. He's godly. And then, after a fight that takes us to our absolute emotional and physical limits, both combatants wind up on the floor locked in bloodshed, and things finally end just like that. Kratos does the only reasonable thing in this situation. Even if only for a few seconds, he lies there, body battered from the assault. As tiny and isolated as this is, I adore this. It just sells the immensity of the fight. The stranger is an immortal, and as such, each time we felt like we had the upper hand in the fight, he'd just refresh his vitality in a way that only an immortal could, and we'd just hit on to the next round. This initial fight is truly a marathon, and this tiny pause is the perfect finish line. I feel like these kinds of subtle pauses are a big part of gameplay loops that I quite enjoy. If you've ever played the Monster Hunter series, one of my all-time favourites, you'll know that Monster Hunter demands a lot from its players. Quests are neither short nor easy. You are literally a dragon slayer by trade, and from dirt eaters to avatars of absolute malice, you will hunt and hunt and hunt. And at the end of every quest, after the big bad has been felled, you get this little visual of your hunter taking in the immensity of the task they just undertook. Like the pause you take after closing the front door after coming home. A few seconds to signify the end of hard work. These pauses are clearly put there deliberately by the devs, but what I think's even spicier is when players do it naturally. Have a quick look at this clip from Bloodborne. The fight on screen is the final boss of the DLC, a creature more challenging than the actual final boss of the main game, the child of a god, Orphan of Kos. Now watch what happens when some player beats his fucking ass.
Yes! Yes! Oh my god! Oh my fucking god! That was beautiful!
His hands are off the controller. So many bosses have taken me to this point. Gamers might not exercise, but they absolutely sweat. Liminality isn't something you experience just after beating a boss though. Sometimes it's, well, you know, it's liminal spaces. The sweeping view of the city in Hyperlight Drifter, the gentle boat ride manned by Captain, the corridors, the waterways, the vistas, and this big, dumb, stupid ladder.
What a thrill.
I hate this, but I love this. I don't know what I'm trying to do here, guys. I've been playing a lot of Rivals of Aether recently. The word recently is quite redundant here. I'm always playing Rivals of Aether, and I had the game of my life recently. I was having a little tournament with friends, and I played this overwhelmingly oppressive Rano. I took 2 stocks like a speedrunner on amphetamines. I was astounded by my own performance, only to then have my opponent actually flip the god switch on me and take it all away. They completely reversed a 2-stock lead in a 3-stock game. Our small ring of Discord friends lit up into a blooming celebration. My opponent screeched his lungs out. Some of us very well watched or participated in the tensest match of our entire lives. And I, the losing party, just fucking sat there, bemused with how drastically momentum can swing, feeling the embers of a missed victory, the internal lurch to see what the world would have looked like on one other permutation of fate, the absence of any air in my lungs. There's that word again. Absence. A pause, by definition, is a temporary halt, an absence of action. The word temporary is the bit that distinguishes pause from the word stop. Motion will not be halted forever. When my friend left my home city that day, I remember exchanging texts. They had some trepidation about how little we would see each other, and I tried to assure them that this was just transitional. It was an evolution of what our friendship was. The word liminal in the phrase liminal pause means transitional. It means in between. It means bus stop, airport. It means waiting room. And the most exciting thing about the liminal pause is the promise for something new. A pause without context is indistinguishable from a stop. You don't always know if there's going to be a next chapter, and I think that is what hurt so much when my friend left. Them leaving sounded like the last song of an album, and it's only now, weeks later, that I know we were just writing the lyrics to a song we hadn't heard yet.
When the light is running low and the shadows start to grow and the places that you know seem like fantasy, there's a light inside your soul that's still shining in the cold with the truth, the promise in our hearts. Don't forget, I'm with you in the dark.
Hey nerds, that weird video that you just watched was an art game that I've been playing with some friends. The game was to produce a small bit of art because I'm a videographer. I made this little TikTok that you can see uploaded to my channel. We then swapped pieces of art and I got this image here, and then the video you just watched was what I was inspired to do after seeing that image. This is just a game that I played with a couple of friends, and now it's resulted in this video. So if it was a bit messy, short, or disorganized, it's because it was all part of a game. But in any case, more videos are on the way, as per usual, and thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.